Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to today's webinar hosted by the Retirement Advantage. Today we will be discussing year-end census data collection. My name is Bill Sunigal. I'm the Marketing and Communications Director for the Retirement Advantage. Today's presenter is Carrie Bernier. She's our Plan Administration Team Leader. Before we go any further, just wanted to review the functionality of GoToWebinar. Now, we value your participation throughout the session, but right now I have everyone on mute just to avoid any background noises that may distract you from listening to the webinar. You do, however, have the ability to submit your questions using the chat or questions pane located near the bottom of the control panel on the right-hand side of your screen. You can enter your questions and or comments in either of the boxes throughout the presentation. Your questions will then be answered at the end of the webinar during our Q&A session. I would now like to hand off the mic to Carrie.
All right, thank you, Bill. Good afternoon, everyone. As Bill mentioned, this afternoon's webinar will guide you through completing our electronic year-end data collection request. This information is required for the Retirement Advantage to prepare the necessary year-end compliance work for your retirement plan. When your plan year-end is approaching, TRA will send out an email containing a link to our plan sponsor link website for the data collection. To get started, you only need to click on the link within the email, or if you do not have the email available, you can also just go directly to our secure website at plansponsorlink, all one word, .com /TRA401k, again, /. So this is the screen that I currently have up. We will walk through a little bit about logging in. When you are logging into the Plan Sponsor Link website, your email address will be your username, and a password will either be a temporary one that you might have received from your client relationship manager or one that you had previously set up. If it is the first time that you are registering for the site, you may use this first time user button or link. You will just need to enter in your email address and temporary information will be sent to you. If you had previously registered but perhaps misplaced your password, you may click on the Forgot Password link. Again, same deal here. You put in your email address and temporary information will be sent to you as well. Right. If at any time that you have questions about logging into the Plan Sponsor Link website, you may contact your CRM directly and they can assist you with it as well. Upon logging into our Plan Sponsor Link website, you will see an Active Task tab here. This will reflect all open items or notices that you might have outstanding. It also contains the link for our data collection. You will see a span of plan year end that's applicable to you, so you might see one from 10/1/2015 through 9/30/2016. To begin the collection, you simply need to click on the Begin Task button. If you do not see the task listed, please reach out to your client relationship manager. They can see what might be causing the issue and activate that step for you. Once you begin the task, the website really guides you step by step through the information that is required for us to complete your testing. We have tried to populate information and will continue to do so as years go on so that you're not needing to enter that information in year after year after year. The first step that is required is just some general information such as your address of your company location and contact numbers. If you see any additions that are needed, you may click this green plus symbol to add either an address or a phone number. If changes are needed to what is listed, you may hit the edit icon, which is a piece of paper and pencil symbol, and again are able to edit on the screen. Each step does have the ability for you to add notes if there's additional information or clarification that you would like to provide to TRA. You just need to click on the small notes icon to bring up the ability to add a note. Once this data is complete and accurate, click the Save button to move on to the next step. And the next step that it brings us to is, again, just some more company information. So it's similar to the last screen. We just need you to update or add information as necessary. So reviewing your EIN, fiscal year end, entity type, business code, payroll frequency. Anything with an asterisk symbol is a required field, so you will not be able to save and go forward until that information is inputted. When you are done with that step, if you click Save, you will move ahead to the next step, which is Principals. This screen requests ownership and officer information, which TRA requires for accurate compliance testing. Again, you can add, delete, edit as necessary, but as noted, the percentages do need to total at least 100%. So if perhaps you are a firm with no ownership, such as a nonprofit entity, you can just make one entry using the company name. You enter no title and 100% for ownership, like the screen is currently showing. Once this information is updated, again, just click Save to move on to the next step, which brings us to family. Family attribution or relationships within your company is an important step to the regulations surrounding compliance testing for retirement plans. So again, please add, delete, edit any information that is listed here. As on all the other tabs, if you do have any notes that you would like to make, you can edit them or add them by clicking the Notes button here. But once you feel that the information reflected on the screen is accurate, click Save, and you will move on to the business step. Businesses is in regards to ownership in other businesses, and it's really important for us to have that information. Again, just part of the regulations surrounding compliance testing for retirement plans. Want to make sure we have all of this outside ownership information as well. So again, just as the same as the other steps, please add, delete, edit information as necessary. Enter a note if you do have a question or clarification that you would like addressed, and then click Save to move on to the next step, which is our contact step. This screen reflects our current contact database for your plan. So please review, and if any changes are necessary, please work with your client relationship manager to update. You are able to add additional contacts on this page, but you cannot edit or remove existing contacts. So if you do notice that perhaps someone has left the company that previously had access, or maybe was listed within our contact database, please again reach out to your client relationship manager and they can assist you with updating our database. We can move on to the next step then once that information is updated, which will bring us to the plan step. This is a questionnaire that really goes over items that are required for us to effectively administer the compliance testing for your plan. If at any time you do have questions on or answering the questions, your relationship manager is just a phone call away and can help you provide answers to the step-by-step questions being asked. Again, anything that has the red asterisk symbol is a required field, and you will not be able to move forward with the step until those questions are answered. I won't go through step by step, but as you can see, it asks a lot of plan detailed questions such as, do you have another plan perhaps? Have you allowed all of your eligible employees to participate in the plan timely? What kind of contributions will be made during the plan, or into the plan during the plan year? And how, if your plan has forfeitures, how would you like them allocated? Again, once you're complete with this section, you may click Save, but if you do not have all the asterisk items completed, when you try to click Save, it will give you an error that the step cannot be completed because there are additional required fields. But it's important to note that your choices have been saved, so if you need to exit, you can come back and enter in more information. Once you were able to fully complete that step and you're able to save, you would move forward to our 5500 questionnaire. This tab is a series of items that are required for us to prepare your IRS Form 5500. the tax form that's required for your plan. Again, if you need any assistance answering the questions, you may contact your client relationship manager, and they're able to walk through this step by step with you. Again, anything that is marked with a red asterisk is a required field, and you will not be able to complete the step and move forward with leaving any of these unanswered. The 5,500 questions are pretty general. One thing that I wanted to indicate, though, is a lot of times we get some questions on the assets or liabilities transferred from this plan to another qualified plan. This is if you had some sort of merger or acquisition or maybe a spin-off of the company. This 5 through 10 questions do not relate to terminated employees removing assets from the plan and taking a distribution out of the plan. Just a note. Again, but once the answers are in there and you click Save, it will move on to our employee step. This step is where the census data is collected. You'll get this pop-up about Gridview. You can just click OK. Basically, it's asking how you would like this information displayed on your screen. The information that we're collecting can either be submitted directly on our website here by editing line by line, or you can also complete it manually if you desire through our import-export feature. If you prefer that manual approach, here's just a few tips to consider. Click on the field descriptions link if you'd like a description of the various column headings and what data you should include. It will populate a new tab, but you are able to view what, again, the column headers are and what we're really looking for the information to be completed. If you click Close, you'll be brought back to the main page. To edit directly on the screen, if you use the scroll bar, if you're in the compact view, scroll all the way to the right, and you have the ability to edit the individual employee. So clicking on this piece of paper and pencil symbol, you will be brought up a new screen that contains the individual employee's information. Again, asterisk fields are required in order to move forward. There is a scroll bar located on the right as there is more information that we're asking. So in addition to the information that is pre-filled, such as last name, first name, social security number, date of birth, date of hire, compensation and hours are also required. If you have any questions about if you are needing to provide additional compensation details, meaning if your plan would exclude these and we would need them for testing, please reach out to your client relationship manager and they can assist you with that. There's also areas for you to enter in your pre-tax or Roth, perhaps, salary deferrals that your employees had withheld from their paychecks throughout the plan year, as well as a place to enter in any employer match, employer contributions that may have been contributed during the plan year. If you have a safe harbor plan, you will also see another entry here. It might look a little bit different for the data collection, and it will have a safe harbor contribution entry as well. Once you are done, if you have more employees listed than just one on the screen, you will see either a Save and Next option, which will allow you just to click through to the next employee, or if you are complete, you can go ahead and click Submit. If by chance you were missing one of the required fields, if you try to submit, you'll get a validation error, not allowing you to move forward. So we'll just go ahead and put a 1 back in there to move forward. You can review all of your entries on the screen then as they are updated real time. Again, there is an option to export and import the information that is already out there. It's simply utilizing these buttons here. So you can export it into an XLX file and manually input the information. It will have all of the same columns that are required, and you'll just type them into the spreadsheet. Once you're complete with the spreadsheet, you can choose to upload it by browsing for your document on the computer and importing it into the system. If you have any questions relating to the import-export function, again, please contact your client relationship manager and they can assist you with that. Once you are complete with the census information, you might see this yellow highlighted bar indicating that there are issues that have been detected. It's important to note that this does not mean there is something necessarily incorrect with your submission. It's just a warning feature which will guide you through providing the most accurate information possible. You can click the link to view the issues. Errors, so in this types column, if it indicates that there's an error, those do need to be corrected prior to submitting, but warnings you can ignore if the information is accurate. It's just providing that, in most cases, at least one employee will have deferral or a different type of situation that, we might bring up as a question. You're able to close this screen and get back to the file. And if you're okay with the warnings that are being presented, go ahead and click Save. Again, it's saying, just make sure you are choosing to ignore them. Continue and save anyways. And you are brought to the approval step. If each step on the left-hand side contains a green check mark, you are ready to click the Sign and Submit button. If you have any red X's, like I do here, it is necessary to resolve those issues prior to clicking the Sign and Submit. As always, if you haven't or need any assistance resolving any of these issues, please work with your client relationship manager. But upon resolving and having all green check marks, you can approve your submission by clicking the Sign and Submit button. When you click the button, I don't have the access right now because of the red steps, but when you would click the Sign and Submit button, you will be asked to populate your name and email address. And then once the submission goes through, an email confirmation will be sent to you, and it also notifies us at TRA that your data was uploaded and we can begin to take the steps to complete your compliance testing. That concludes the tutorial for the completion of our year-end data collection request. So we can now open up for any questions that you might have.
Thanks, Carrie. A couple questions came in. First one,
Right.
If I need to exit the collection partway through, will the information I previously answered save, or will it need to be re-entered?
All right, great question. Our system does save after each step. So when you are completing the step and click Save, it will remember any information you had previously inputted. Like we ran into the issue with the plan questionnaire, even if you're not able to fully complete the step, as long as you click the Save button, it will remember all of the information previously inputted. So if you need to exit the system and re-enter, it will bring you back immediately to that last step completed.
Excellent, thank you. Another question. How do I get my accountant access to the site to answer these questions?
All right. If you have an individual that was not listed perhaps on the contacts database step that you would like access to complete information, and likely an accountant might help you with the census information, just work with your client relationship manager. We can add access and populate an email for them to set up their credentials on our plan sponsor link website. They will basically have the same kind of view for the data collection, so they'll be able to walk through and enter in any of the missing information.
Okay, thank you. Following question. When is the information needed by?
All right, great question. We appreciate at TRA any information that can be supplied as soon as possible so that we can ensure that your testing is completed by any mandatory deadline. But specific deadlines to your plan will be released with any communication that goes out regarding data collection.
Okay.
Great question.
Okay. Last question, it looks like. An Excel file worksheet can be imported, but the column headings have to be correspond with the fields in the PSL. Is that correct?
That is correct. When you are on, and I will go back to the step that is being referred to. If you are choosing to export your Excel file from Plan Sponsor Link, it's important to keep the spreadsheet as is, as far as keeping this first tab, which is the instructions tab, and then once accessing the employee's information, to not edit any of these headers in the columns. These header columns need to stay as is. Do not add any columns, or it will not allow you to re-import it into the system. If you do need to add employees, you are able to insert rows. It's just making sure that we are keeping the headers the same and also keeping this instructions tab in the file. Great question.
Excellent. Thank you. It doesn't look like we have any more questions in the queue. And if there aren't any questions, we're going to wrap up this webinar session. If you'd like to continue the conversation, you can contact your CRM directly at 888-872-2364. Or if you want to request a link to view this webinar, you can contact me at bill.sunigal@tra401k.com. That's spelled BILL S as in Sam, UNAGEL @tra401k.com. Again, we appreciate your time and participation. Thank you and have a great rest of the day. Thank you, Carrie.
Thank you, everyone.